Well, hello and welcome to History's a Blast. We are at Greenwood Furnace State Park on our way back from a week-long adventure in Pennsylvania's anthracite country, Schuylkill County. And I think we found our new favorite state park at Greenwood Furnace. It's just lovely here, and we're going to do a quick walk through and show you what we like about this historical and scenic park. So come along. Here's the visitor center, open from 8 to 4. And here's a little trail network. The Monsell Trail is a compass course. Here's the start and the finish of a compass course. In 2023, they still have a compass course, in case the satellites are ever re-encrypted. Here's the "You Are Here" sign, the lake swimming area, which we'll show you. The picnic area, the park headquarters, and they have a little museum in there, gift shop. There's the furnace stacks, and there's some other related historical artifacts down that way that we're going to go to. So let's go. Greenwood Furnace has a nice little swimming area in its mill lake. Nice beach. There's the concessions stand, picnic area behind there. Food, bathrooms, showers. I want to show you our very nice campsite here at Greenwood Furnace State Park. It's Site 39 and it's in the pet-friendly section. It's electric only, as are all the sites here, but they do have potable water at the dump station where you can fill your fresh water tank on the way in. It's a very roomy site, and you can see that the vegetation and the distance between the sites is quite nice. A lot of privacy here. It is next to a state highway, but the traffic is very occasional, and it's extremely quiet here at night. We bedded down at 10:30 and didn't hear traffic all night. You can see that the area here is nice and broad. We have a big, nice open picnic area. Fire circle in the back. Standard state park fire circle. And there's even a place for extra vehicle parking or a tent pad back here. And the pathway leads right down out the back of the campsite down to the lower road. And if you can see through the trees there, that's the shower facility. And Mrs. History's a Blast took a shower this morning and said that the facilities were very, very nice. Here's the power stand. It's 30 and 20 amp only. I believe they do have 50 amp stands. I'm not sure about that. But a very nice site, and it's level. And there's a slope into it, but we leveled up with no problems. It was level already side to side, and front to back, of course, is never really a problem. It is mostly shaded, so that's a factor in solar as well as Starlink. And Verizon reception here is nil. Absolutely nil. So forewarned is forearmed. If you want seclusion and plug-in power and a nice big spacious campsite with lots of privacy, this is the place. All right, let's go into the visitor center. Thank you. Well, I got all kinds of merchandise. A little play area in here for the kiddies. Display of regional wildlife. Look at the size of this gobbler. There's a bobcat, ringneck pheasant, a pileated woodpecker. And there's our guest register to sign up for. Pileated woodpecker. The woodcock. The screech owl. Look at that bobcat going after the pheasant. Timber rattler. Wow. There's this. Nice exhibits. The loon. I didn't know loons were indigenous to Pennsylvania. That's interesting. Oh, I forgot the black bear back there. He's showing us his butt. There. There's a mink hiding away back there. And then we have exhibits that are relative to the Civilian Conservation Corps and to the Greenwood furnace. State 50, S stands for state parks. CCC Camp 58. Well, there's Colonel John Wright, the Iron Master here at Greenwood. There's a better, get the glare out of there. There we are. He was here from 1847 to 1869. He erected one of the, in 1868, he erected one of America's first Bessemer steel plants to produce steel rails in nearby Burnham. Okay. And that would be over by Lewistown. Artifacts from the settlement that grew up around the iron plantation. The original pump organ for the Greenwood Furnace Methodist Episcopal Church, which is just up the road. And there's the Greenwood Furnace Cornet Band. Neat. All right, I'm going to go look at the gift shop and then we'll walk down to the blacksmith shop. I guess we'll go first, huh? Okay, great. Greenwood Furnace was a charcoal iron blast furnace that operated from 1834 into the 1900s, almost 70 years. And the furnace stack has been preserved along with a number of historical remains and exhibits. And we're going to visit those, so come along. The blacksmith shop is staffed by volunteer educators Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays in September. Depends on when they have their volunteers, I guess, but it's on their Facebook page, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Let's go on in. Look at the size of this wagon. Wow. The only original parts to it are the wheels and the undercarriage. They don't really know what the wagon body looked like, but I'm assuming this was a charcoal wagon, not hauling ore or limestone. It's too massive. And charcoal would have been a very lightweight but very bulky cargo to haul from the coaling pits out in the woods. But it's original to the furnace, and it was sold at auction and donated back to the furnace after the operating years ended. And it was rebuilt, but without historical knowledge of what it looked like. So anyway, there it is. Beautiful. Over here in the corner, it looks like we have a carpenter's display with augers and bits. There's a planing table, and looks like work in progress. Very nice. Now this is called a charging buggy. This was a hand barrow that was used to actually carry raw materials to the top of the furnace, which would have been iron ore, limestone, and charcoal, and to dump it into the top of the furnace. Well, the description doesn't say why there's a woman leaning against the buggy. Definitely would have been men's work at the blast furnace. But it does say that this particular buggy is on loan from the Cornwall Furnace Historical Site, which is a state-run historical site in Lebanon County, east of here. Here's the forge. Here we see some tools, as well as iron pigs, cast on the floor of the furnace, cast house. And we'll go over to the stacks momentarily. Very nice in here. So happy that they have volunteers that are willing to staff this place during the daytimes for visitors to come. The furnace stacks are across the park road from the blacksmith shop in a little wooded glen, built as stone stack charcoal furnaces often were, always were almost, against a hillside to make it easier to get the materials to the top of the furnace stack. This is stack number 2, built I believe in the 1860s. The ruins of stack number 1 are behind those trees to the left of stack number 2. The Civilian Conservation Corps stabilized stack 2 in the 1930s. The Greenwood furnace was one of the longest lived charcoal iron furnaces. It lasted until 1904, which is incredible. Making pig iron for the Freedom Iron Works in nearby Burnham, which is on the outskirts of Lewistown, Pennsylvania. These excellent storyboards give you a brief history and technological how-to on making pig iron with charcoal as the fuel. There's a wonderful cutaway of the blast furnace, what the insides of that thing would have looked like over there. There's the top filler charging materials into the top of the furnace here, and it comes out the bottom into the troughs called pigs. The big trough is called the sow, believe it or not. Water powered, although in the 1860s, Greenwood furnace was converted to steam power, which made it capable of operating year-round. Trying to stay in the shade because the sun's against us this morning. Stacks are about 30 feet tall. That was as high as they could get because the weight of the raw materials, any taller than that, would crush the charcoal and it wouldn't burn evenly. What's wonderful about this is the guts of the furnace are gone. Only the support structure remains. And down here in the base at the hearth is the remains of the hearth. You can see the tap hole where the molten iron would have been tapped and flowed out onto the cast house floor, which had been in that grassy area behind me. And on either side, you can see the remains of the castings that would have been the holes for the tuyeres, the nozzles through which the air from the blast engine was forced into the base of the blast furnace to increase the heat of the charcoal burning and give it the temperature it needed to make molten iron. And we look right up the stack to the trundle hole where the raw materials would have been charged. This is a very, very good architectural and archaeological remain. of a charcoal iron furnace. And the remains of stack number 1 were investigated by archaeologists in the 1970s. And here we see the surviving archway. All that's left of this furnace is the base of the stack. We see stone walls, stone footings. We see the stone retaining wall against the charging hill. We see mysterious iron relics. Walking around the stack base. More undocumented remains. TTC 1833. This might be a part of the stack or the flue from the engine house where the blast engine, the boilers for the blast engine were. And there's more things to see up that hill. There's the road leading to the Iron Master's mansion. Massive trees over here. This is the home of the Iron Master, Colonel John Wright. Quite modest when compared to what we perceive as a mansion. Workers called it the Big House. 14 rooms on 3 floors. It became the home of the local forest ranger in 1906. We saw the sign for the nursery up there, founded in 1904. Here's a list of all the skills that an Iron Master needed in order to be successful. Quite a well-rounded bill of goods there. It says it was originally covered with white stucco plaster, which was fashionable at the time. That would have been great to sit out on this back porch. It's bigger than it looks from the front, that's for sure. Massive tree. A quick review of the campground. There's a total of 51 sites. I'm looking at my notes here. 20 of those are pet friendly, and there's one 50 amp site, 16 30 amp sites, and 3 non-electric sites in the pet friendly loop. None of the sites have water or, of course, sewer hookups. In the non-pet loop, there are a total of 29 sites, 3 of which have 50 amps, 23 have 30 amps, and 3 are non-electric. There are also 2 walk-in campsites, which are primitive, and they allow pets as well. All of the sites are more or less like ours, but of various sizes. Most of them are not big rig size, quite frankly. Our trailer, 20 feet, there's probably room for a 30-foot trailer in this site. But on the website, you reserve these through reserveamerica.com, and each site basically will come up available based on the size of the rig that you state in the questionnaire part of the reservations section. Well, I forgot to tell you about the dump station, which is kind of neat because Pennsylvania State Parks, you don't have to camp here to use the dump stations. You can pay a fee if you're a resident of the state, $10. Non-resident fee is $11. You can dump there, and you can top off with potable water if that's available, which it is here. Unfortunately, there's not a capability for flushing your tanks here. The flush hoses are basically set up with high-speed nozzles, and all you can really do with them is rinse off the area around the dump hole and maybe, clean out your stinky slinky and around your outlet. But otherwise, they're good dump stations here, so we'll let it go at that. So that's it. That's our visit to Greenwood Furnace State Park. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll take some time to check out some of our other ones. See you soon.